What is up everyone, and welcome to my latest video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Perfect Dark decomp port for Windows and Linux. Basically, for those of you that doesn't know what this is, someone has reverse engineered the Nintendo 64 game Perfect Dark and managed to run it natively within Windows or Linux. Basically, it allows you the game to run at 60 frames per second, whatever resolution you are running, and it even has keyboard and mouse support. You can actually use the mouse to look around. You can also use an Xbox controller, or I believe any X input supported controller like the PS4 controller. It just works. Like, all the textures and stuff run at a much cleaner look, and it's just generally a overall better experience than running it through an emulator. Okay, so here we have the GitHub page for the project. As you can see here, here's all the controls. I've only really just quickly glanced over them. For Windows, you can do all this stuff, but I found that you can just use the, I guess they call it automatic builds. It runs fine. You just download that. It has a zip file. You extract it. You've got all this stuff here. One thing you do need to provide here, though, is a copy of the ROM and the NTSC final ROM, which I'll get to in a second here. Seems to run pretty well. There's no issues there. I don't know how well the PAL ROM works, and most of the ROM sites online just have this copy of the game anyway. And then you just run the executable and it runs. Now, what I was alluding to before about the different versions of the game is, for Perfect Dark, there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3 versions of the NTSC, so the North American version, or the rest of the world basically. And then there's 2 versions of PAL for Australia, Europe, New Zealand, places like that, and 1 version for Japan. So I'm using this version, NTSC Final, which has 99.3%, I guess, functionality. That's the same as the version 1, and the beta apparently has less. I've just been playing the first mission and it seems to be working fine. So let's jump into it. Once you put your ROM in here, you have to name it pd.ntsc-final.z64. Just check with the GitHub page when you download this and make sure that hasn't changed, but that's what the file it's looking for. Now, as far as the app goes, it's pretty bare bones. Let's just pop it open. So there's no controls for the application itself, like volume levels and stuff. You have to do all that either in the Windows Sound Manager or in the game you're using. Sorry, I just skipped that by mistake. So yeah, so now we're in the game. It basically functions the same way as the original does on the Nintendo 64. You have keyboard support. You also have controller support, which I'm using here. I'm just using the original Xbox One controller, the non-Bluetooth version. Everything in here is the same. Got some cheats. Can't remember if cheats are enabled by default on the game or you have to unlock them. Anyway, so here we are in the Carrington Institute, and I'm just going to walk around a bit first. So I'm using the controller right now. It has both analog stick support, so you can turn and look up and down nice and smoothly. There's also mouse look, so I'm using the mouse right now, and it's buttery smooth. The GitHub page did mention something about the mouse look being a little bit buggy, but I haven't noticed that so far. As far as textures and lighting goes, it looks like it's probably pretty true to the original game. Well, it is the original game, but true to the original platform. There's a little bit of you can see there like these lines here, but I believe that's actually part of the original game as well, and you just don't really notice it when you're running it in like whatever resolution Nintendo 64 ran at. I think the PAL version ran at 480p, 480i or something. It wasn't very high. This computer's running at 1440p, so not quite super high res like 4K, but I don't think you'd notice too much of a difference between either of them. So let's just jump into a mission here. Let's jump into solo missions. Let's just do agent because I haven't played this game in years. As you can hear, the music and everything's working perfectly fine. There's no glitching or anything so far in the game. Maybe once we get, if we went further into the game, we might notice something like that. But just quickly jumping back into the options real quick. It'd be nice if they included some way to control the actual Windows side of things, rather than just what the game originally had, like changing the actual resolution and other aspects like that. I don't know how well this is going to run on sort of lower end hardware. I'm running this on a 12th gen i7 laptop with a 3070 Ti. I don't know how well this would run on like an older system or something with less graphics, but I'm assuming if you can run the game at whatever native resolution you have within, say, an emulator or something, you'd probably be fine. I've still got paintball turned on, hold on. So all the controls seem to be pretty well mapped to the Xbox controller, so A is A and B is B and all that sort of stuff. And even vibrate works, I just noticed that, which is great. So you got full rumble support out of the box. See, it's so smooth. Should probably do a side-by-side comparison between this and the original. I don't actually have my Nintendo 64 at the moment. I could probably do it through an emulator, but that wouldn't really give it much justice now, would it? You probably want to do it on like an actual console to do side-by-side. Shut up. Okay, let's get into this. Run downstairs. It just feels so smooth to play compared to the original. Especially with the controller. Let's see if I can do it with the mouse. So I'm just looking at everything with the mouse at the moment. It's a bit hard. I'm actually steering with the controller because the microphone's in the way. Do like cool whips and stuff. It's cool. Alright, let's go downstairs. There's also other decomp ports for other games as well. There's one for Wipeout, I believe, on the PS1. And it is pretty interesting how they package this. I think it's for copyright reasons. So you have to supply the game yourself, the same with the PS1 decomp port as well. So I guess that makes it pretty above board with everything as well, which is great. But it would be cool to see maybe one day when there's more games that are done like this, where they can where there can be sort of like a launcher or something for it. Would be cool as well to see. But at the moment this game's running perfectly fine. As far as saves and everything goes, I don't know where the saves actually get put. Like Project 64 and stuff, the saves were kept separate to the actual ROM files. Just jumping in real quick and just about the save data for the games, or the game, and that's actually just saved in the same folder as the executable is. So all these files here, it's actually just the eprom.bin file. So I don't know if you can take this and then put it into, say, another, like an emulator or something, or onto a flash cart and see if it works. I don't know if it's the same format or anything like that, but yeah, if you do like finish the game or whatever and you want to make sure it's backed up, it's just saved in there. It's still separate to the actual ROM file. It's just, yeah, in a different location. Or if you wanted to clear out all the saves easily, you could just rename this file, delete it. It just makes the file again every time you launch this executable. So yeah, back to the video. Yeah, I don't know where they're saved here. I could probably find out. I'll put in the description actually once I find out. Yeah, so that's basically the end of this quick little video. I just wanted to show off this cool project and give them a shout out basically. And if you want to give it a go, I'll leave a link to the GitHub page down below. You can try it out. It's super easy to set up now, and all you have to do is just supply your own ROM. And yeah, leave a comment down below what games you'd like to see in the future to get this sort of cool treatment and turned into a much better version of what they originally were. And yeah, until next time, see ya.